October 3rd was Mary Lynn's and mine 39th wedding anniversary. We've been married 39 years, and believe it or not, in that period of time there have been tense moments. Perhaps the tensest moments have occurred when on the spur of the moment I have invited someone home for dinner. I have called her at the last minute and said, I'm bringing a friend or somebody from church home for dinner, and she's always gracious. But when it's over, she says, I really need to give her a little bit more time to get ready. Things need to be picked up. The house needs to be vacuumed and dusted. And if we're having peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, maybe we could have had a better meal had she been given a little bit of notice. Well, the church feels the same way about the coming of Christ. Christmas is when we annually remember the coming of Christ as the baby in Bethlehem. He's showing up for a visit. And the church says we just can't spring that on ourselves. We need to ramp up. We need to make ourselves ready for that. And so the church created a season, a 4-week season before Christmas called Advent. The word Advent simply means coming. It's a way of anticipating the coming of Christ. And the church has said that during this season we need to get ourselves ready. Using a biblical metaphor, the church has said the best thing we can do is to make room for the coming of Christ. Think of the innkeeper in the Christmas story. No room in the inn. We need to create room in our lives for the coming of Christ. That's personal. We need to do that personally with spiritual disciplines, prayer and Bible study, almsgiving. But we also need to do it congregationally. We need to make room in the life of our church for the people who aren't here. Every empty pew is a seat that's waiting for someone to be invited to be a part of that. And Christmas, Advent, is the very best season for us to be invitational. And so this year at Northway, in a program we're calling Advent Inviting, we have created 2 special activities. One on December the 7th with the kids, starting at 4:30 in the fellowship hall, return to Bethlehem. Another one a week later in the 10:50 service, 10:50, a service of carols and scripture lessons, both ways for us to invite family and friends, people we know and love who need to know the old story, give them a place to come that is easy for us to be welcoming and to put our best foot forward. And so, I encourage you to use these next 4 weeks to get ready for the coming of Christ. To do that personally, but as members of a community, let's do it as a church. Let's make room for the coming of Christ by making room for family members and friends who aren't here but who need to be here. This Christmas, let's go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born.